Alright guys, what is going on? How you guys all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993 here for a very, very quick review of this past week's episode of Smackdown. Busy week for me right now, so I'm going to make this quick. Get caught up. I do have a pay-per-view preview to do, of course, at some point this week as well, but my week has gotten loaded up all of a sudden, so gotta move quick here. But brief review of Smackdown took place this past Friday, February 10th, 2023 in Uncasville, Connecticut, whatever that is. Honestly, there was not much that happened on this episode. Most of it was pretty filler, pretty skippable. The main thing the big story of the night, of course, was that would Jey Uso show up for the SmackDown tag title match that Usos had against Ricochet and Braun Strowman. We got a little more of, the build for Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn, but it may just be because most of the stuff for Chambers happening on Raw and not so much on SmackDown. Or then, of course, the big match of the pay-per-view, which again is Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. So that may be the reason why this SmackDown felt a little skippable. I actually was not able to actually watch the full show because some reason it didn't DVR on my DVR for some reason. I had it set up, so I ended up having just to watch the highlights. But even based off the highlights, the only thing that I wanted to go back and watch the whole thing of was that opening promo with Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn. We'll address that and then just breeze through most of the rest of it. Because again, most of it was pretty skippable. But not horrible, but it was just pointless, I thought. We opened up, of course, with Paul Heyman. He says he's here to drop a few pearls of wisdom. Ever since he and Brock Lesnar conquered Taker's WrestleMania undefeated streak, he doesn't offer predictions, he offers spoilers. So get your notepads ready. The Island of Relevancy is under a two-pronged attack. Here on SmackDown, number contender at Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn. He calls Sami a crazed, psychopathic rebel and informs us that he's not here tonight. Sami challenged Roman for the title. Come on, can you imagine Sami Zayn actually winning the Undisputed Universal title? Which again, I still like, that they're continuing just to tease this idea that Sami could win. Even though it still looks like they're probably going to go with Cody and Roman, but they're still treating it as there's a chance it still may not be. And Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, these aren't wrestling champions. These are the very plasma that runs through the veins of the bloodline, the crest of the Anoa'i and Fatu dynasties. The titles are the tribe of which Roman Reigns is the chief. Without these titles, there is no Island of Relevancy, no bloodline, no Paul Heyman, and no Roman Reigns. Basically saying that nothing is relevant as long as the company is carried on the back of the bloodline. Sami Zayn, though, does show up in a hoodie and waits till Paul Heyman turns around and recognizes he's here, which of course he does. Sami then holds out his hand, and Heyman gives him the mic. Samuel tells him, you gotta calm down. You're sweating, you're nervous, but don't worry, he isn't gonna hurt him. But if he wanted to, he could have by now. Isn't that weird? He could have dropped Heyman like a bag of dirt, and no one is here to protect him. A month ago, Solo would have already been here, and Samoan spiked him to the mat. Last month, Jimmy Uso would have jumped him with a flurry of punches the same way Jay would too. But why has none of that happened? Because now the rest of the bloodline know Roman is off the rails. The walls are closing in. And everything is starting to fall apart. He left the bloodline. Jay left on his own violation. And what do you think Jimmy Uso does next? Do you think he's going to side with his abusive cousin? Or with his twin brother that he shared a womb with? What happens to Solo? who Roman pulled in tight the second he saw he was getting tight with Sami, and even Paul, the special counsel, the wise man. Let's be honest, the way he looks at Roman is a little creepy. Like the sun shines out his ass, and now here he is talking about life after Roman when the titles are gone. And Heyman knows what everybody else knows. Roman's on his way out. Implying Roman's off to Hollywood soon, which is true. But Zayn, though, has a spoiler of his own. Roman has 8 days left. Heyman reaches for the mic, but Sami instead just pulls him in close for a deep hug, but pulls the mic up and says in his ear, "Listen up, Paul. Tell Roman don't worry about Cody. He's going to be the one to take him down." So, great opening promo. We did see Sami later on have a very interesting reaction with a certain somebody that we were wondering was going to show up on the show tonight or not. I guess it's still not quite clear. I mean, they haven't really quite said it, why Sami decided to turn. They may, have more details once Kevin Owens comes back, which will probably be either at Chamber or right after Chamber to set up for the tag title match with Sami and Kevin versus the Usos at Mania. Because, again, I'm even going to say it too, guys. Yes, Sami Zayn dethroning Roman would be huge. But also the thing too is, do you think Sami Zayn's going to have a really long reign as world champion? The person who dethrones Roman should also have a reign. Not a Roman Reigns reign for almost 3 years. But an actual reign. How would it look to have Sami Zayn win the world title just for him to drop it immediately? The person who dethrones the best in the company then drops it to somebody else right after. I think they'll make us believe that Sami can beat Roman. But again, as much as I do agree they should, have Sami be the one to dethrone Roman, what will be after Sami wins the title? So I still think the person to dethrone Roman has to be Cody. Also, I still think, again, Sami and Kevin, yes, it'll feel like a consolation prize, but in reality, Sami and Kevin winning the tag titles together is special. And is something that that truthfully I think is a moment they need to have at WrestleMania. A big moment they get to share together based off their journeys. So again, I am still just settling my mind on the fact that Cody's going to be the one to dethrone Roman. Sami Zayn is going to fight the Usos with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. But again, that wasn't the only time we heard from him. But anyways, we have Drew McIntyre and Sheamus squash Hit Row. Yeah, they absolutely squashed Hit Row. Even as heels, Hit Row's not gaining any momentum at all whatsoever, which sucks. Then again, who do they have to work with? I'm getting ready to throw in the towel with them too. Again, I loved Hit Row in NXT. I do like the talents that are involved, but they either need to get Swerve back, which it's probably not going to happen because he's still in AEW. You don't know how long his contract's there. Or they kind of need to go a different direction with this. Because again, it's just... it amazes me that they're just not finding the right opportunity to get the fuel lit right now. They're talented. But they got crap to work with. And it's just nothing's helping them progress their characters. So that's a shame that Hit Row got squashed. We have another vignette with Valhalla and the Viking Raiders calling Sheamus and McIntyre for a match next week. Okay, but... And I keep saying this too. Again, I am intrigued by, what they have with the Viking Raiders having, Sarah Logan as Valhalla. I don't know. Maybe it's because that I just didn't think Sarah Logan had much of a character really to her before she got released. But I'm not seeing much progression still with this Valhalla character. Who is she? How is she, making the Viking Raiders stronger. Because again, the wrestling has always been there for the Viking Raiders, since even when they got their name changed. Again, it's just that character. And I repeat myself how many times, it's that character that I'm not seeing it get out onto another gear. But that match is going to be next week. We have people having, Jimmy Uso's backstage, leaving Jey Uso a message, trying to get a hold of him. Karrion Kross and Scarlett promos saying they're going to make Ray suffer and put him down. Jimmy again is trying to call his brother, but again, no answer. Lacey Evans squashes another jobber. Again, that they're really, really not doing. Like, I can't take this Lacey Evans gimmick seriously unless she actually progresses forward with something. Because again, since she came back from being pregnant, she's changed gimmicks like how many times? So I don't know what was going to happen. I'm not going to really invest in this unless this actually does go somewhere for Lacey Evans. Jimmy Uso again has no luck getting a hold of him. And then Paul Heyman comes around and Jimmy gives him a rundown of all the attempts he's done trying to get a hold of Jay. But then Paul asks him, okay, but why didn't you come help him when Sammy held him hostage? And then Jimmy says he's been trying to get a hold of Jay and Soul ain't here. Jimmy asks Paul to have his back and be his tag partner tonight. But then Paul's like, I can't do that. So then Jimmy's like, okay, I'm going to believe it that Jay's going to come here now. I'm going to believe it. Before we even got to that, we also have a segment with Sonya Deville complaining again to Adam Pearce. Chelsea Green then rolls up and does her shtick, and it sets up for Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville to team up because they're both complainers to their managers. And they're having a tag match against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez later on in the show, which I believe that the babyfaces won. Okay. And then we have the tag title match, and Jey Uso at the last minute does show up and comes with the crowd. They have a solid match with Ricochet and Braun Strowman. There was a point in the match where Strowman did go for his, freight train, thing, but then I guess one of the Usos, tripped him, and he fell right into no, he didn't fall into it. He, went over the announce table just from, all his momentum going. Although I didn't understand why Strowman, because towards the end of the match, Strowman went for, did the power slam. But instead of pinning him, he tagged in Ricochet, and they're doing this combination now where, I guess, Ricochet, stands on Strowman's shoulders and does, a swanton off his shoulders, which, is fine, and Danny, it's cool, but it's one of those things where it's they obviously could have won the tag titles right there. Why did he kind of, poke around with that? Just something that kind of bothered me a little bit, but eventually, though, it did lead to the Usos winning with a diving splash and retaining the SmackDown tag titles. And, of course, they're talking and they're all fired up. But basically, Jimmy tries to get an answer out of Jay, where we stand here. And Jay's like, oh, I don't know. And he leaves. Natty cuts a promo then afterwards in the ring saying she feels great to be back. She's ready for Chamber. But she has to get something off her chest. She then again vents about Shayna Baszler, putting her on the shelf with the broken nose. She took something from Shayna, who's nothing more than a cheap knockoff of Ronda Rousey. Ouch. So she took Shayna's spot, and next in Montreal, she's going to win the Chamber and go on to WrestleMania. And then Shayna's going to continue to carry Ronda's bags. Shayna comes out and is like, I'm sick of everybody dismissing, all I've done, because the truth is she was fighting before Ronda Rousey. She was wrestling before Ronda Rousey, and she signed with WWE and was winning titles before Ronda Rousey. She doesn't need to be told she's living in Ronda's shadow. And then Ronda Rousey comes out. And this is the first time we've seen Ronda Rousey since she dropped the title to Charlotte at the end of 2022. I guess we're not going back there because she comes out and Shayna holds her back and looks deep in her eye before turning and dropping Natty with a forearm. And then Shotzi Blackheart randomly joins in but then Shayna and Ronda take her down. So I guess we're not going back to Ronda and Charlotte. I mean, I've seen that match plenty of times. We're not going to go back to that, and we're just moving on from that completely. Is this a reset button being set on Ronda because her reign's been very lackluster since she came back at Rumble last year? Maybe, because I'm hearing the rumors now. Ronda and Shayna are supposed to be winning the tag titles at WrestleMania. Fine. I mean, again, like, it could be a way kind of like hitting a reset button on Ronda, which, dear Lord, she does need it. But okay, like, again, it's just gonna be them, taking on a bunch of women who just have no, like, excitement to them right now. Because, again, there's literally nothing in that women's tag title division. But whatever, we'll see how it goes. We have this interesting backstage segment, though, where Jey Uso is walking to the loading docks, where he runs into Sami Zayn. Sami walks him back, says he can't imagine what he's going through, and he doesn't want to put him in a tough spot. But they both know Roman and he can't imagine letting Jey forget what he did at Rumble. Sami tells him what he did meant the world to him. And they're 8, which referring to Jey Uso walking out and not, like, beating down Sami. They're 8 days away from something he knows Jey has wanted to see for a long time. Going back to, because again, when Roman Reigns, besides, of course, Paul Heyman, started to build up the bloodline, he manipulated the hell out of Jey Uso, got 2 title matches where he basically beat the sense into him. So again, Jey Uso not only is the one who was the last person to get Sami's trust, but was the first person to start this, to kind of like, be involved in the foundation of this whole bloodline storyline. And Sami says, we know this is what you've wanted to do for a long time, is to take down your cousin that's just gone power crazy. Roman's going down. He doesn't know how. He's just going to tell Jey he doesn't have to go down with the ship. There's a way out of this. That's all he's saying. If they don't talk again, he just wants Jey to know that Sami acknowledges Jey. Jey tells him to get out of here. Sami Zayn says he's leaving, and Uso returns his fist bump. And I remember Sami said a line there, something like, I know Roman very well. But then again, it's like, well, when Jey most likely turns on Sami at Chamber, it should be Jey go back saying, you think you know Roman well. I know this man well. The Usos and Roman have been best friends since they were babies. They're cousins, but they're basically best friends. But we got all that. Then we got some hype for the June 30th Smackdown airing from London. And, of course, getting ready for Money in the Bank on July 1st, which I will not be able to watch that show live because that's the day I'm getting married, people. LA Knight has a brief backstage interview, not willing to talk about Bray Wyatt or the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. He just wants to talk about the future, and the future is LA Knight. Yeah! So that was all that was. Again, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez beat Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. Then we have a promo from another contestant in the Fatal 4-Way main event for number one contender for an Intercontinental title. Madcap Moss cut a promo with his real-life girlfriend Emma about how they both think he's going to win. That's basically all it was. Michael Cole then had a sit-down interview with Charlotte, who they talk about Rhea Ripley. And Flair says 3 years ago, Rhea was green and young and not ready. And now she says she's ready. She would hope so. There are levels to this, as she said 3 years ago, and she keeps saying Flair will take it more than 3 years to get Rhea on her level. 3 years ago, she didn't put Rhea in her place. She taught her a lesson, and now she's going to put her in her place. Just another quick little promo to hype up one of the official matches for WrestleMania, which is Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. I guess Charlotte's not defending that title till Mania. Okay. Santos Escobar, the fourth contestant in that Fatal 4-Way, gets a promo talking about how he's going to win tonight as an inset during his entrance. And then we have the main event match. Again, it was Madcap Moss, Karrion Kross, Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar in a fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match. The winner faces the Intercontinental Champion Gunther next week. Now, again, like I said, I only got to watch the highlights, so I did not get to see much of this match. But from what I saw from the match, it was kind of bland. I mean, you knew Rey was not going to win because they have already done Rey and Gunther. I mean, I was hoping they would have had Karrion Kross or Santos Escobar win because, yes, they're both heels, but one thing again about Gunther that I've liked, again, that I remember I got pissed about, but then I got, reminded that it's okay, was the fact that Gunther's a dominating champion, and he's not a typical chicken shit heel champion. Yes, they teased him that one time being afraid of Braun Strowman, but they fixed that after that, which thank God they did. But, in all honesty, again, I feel like Gunther's a heel champion that he can take on heels no problem. He can take on a Karrion Kross. He can take on a Santos Escobar. Instead, though, he'll be taking on Madcap Moss. Because Madcap Moss won this fatal 4-way. And honestly, I didn't like it. Because if Madcap Moss was like that, I got lucky finish. Where I think Rey got taken down with the cross jacket elbow, the cross's elbow to the back of his head, and then Santos took Cross over the top rope. The both of them went outside, and then Madcap just climbed up to a frog splash or something like that on Rey Mysterio, who was already taken down, and he kind of got that sneaky I got lucky win, kind of like how it felt like. When Lana was around, how she got those lucky victories whenever she was in that stupid feud with Nia Jax, and I didn't take it seriously. Because how can you go from Gunther having awesome matches with the likes of Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, Braun Strowman, if I didn't say him already before. All of those, awesome matches with guys, with those credible opponents, to someone like Madcap Moss, who, I'm sorry, I've been trying to keep the door open for him, is just a low-carder. And, the only story he really has is that they're trying to rub him, get more popular on him, off of Emma, again, his real-life girlfriend, who, Emma's great, she's popular, but she has not done much at all since coming back. And again, Madcap Moss just still is not really lighting the crowd on fire. He really isn't, other than when he took out Baron Corbin after he turned on Corbin after WrestleMania last year. He really has not done much. I mean, I thought about it. I guess he was a big hit at the Super Bowl this week because I guess his brother is the offensive lineman coach or something like that for the Philadelphia Eagles. So unless they did that, because he was him and Emma were signing autographs and whatnot, so unless that was kind of a package deal thing, okay, but again, I can't take that match seriously. How can you go from Gunther taking on big opponents again, Sheamus, Ricochet, Strowman, Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, all those guys, to then be being reduced to Madcap Moss? Yeah, head scratch on that one. So that could be kind of a skippable match for me. But then before the show went off the air, we have a promo where Paul Heyman rolls up to Jimmy Uso. He says he just got on the phone with Roman, and he would have brought the call back here, but there's no signal in where they're at. Roman has some tribal chief homework for Jimmy, and that's to stay home with his brother next week, because sometimes you see things on TV that you don't see live. So here's the thing. I'm not sure if that's a way to kind of like, do like a bait and switch trick on Sami Zayn, because they're trying to set a trap for Sami and catch him off guard for either SmackDown on Friday or the pay-per-view this coming weekend. But also, I did hear a rumor about something like that Jimmy Uso may not be able to go to Canada because of his DUI, because of his history there. So I don't know if that could have been a way to write Jimmy Uso off TV before the pay-per-view, or if it's just a way to, play a sneak attack, because I don't know. Because I think Jay's okay. But I've heard Jimmy may not be able to go because of his DUIs. So we'll see what happens next Friday, but that's SmackDown. I gave it a C. Like I said, it wasn't horrible. It's just not much really happened. Okay, we got stuff with Sami Zayn and Paul Heyman. Yes, it was good. It was entertaining. Stuff with Jay and him showing up. Yes, that was all good. The rest felt like complete filler. It really did. And again, with Madcap Moss winning the title and the way he did, I'm just like I said, they may have done it again because, Madcap was going to be kind of somewhat of a celebrity appearance at the Super Bowl, signing autographs, because again, his brother is the Eagles' offensive lineman. But again, I just don't think that's a big deal to do a fatal four normal contenders match with someone who's still feeling like a low carder. So I gave SmackDown a C. What are your guys' thoughts on SmackDown this week? Make sure you guys leave thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at TheClubOfTheMan93. Be sure as always getting the shout for Meatball Sub. Follow me on TikTok at TheClubOfTheMan1993. And again, Elimination Chamber. The new intro will be revealed. And again, the Instagram page and everything else will be opened up as well. So, again, busy week. I'll probably review Raw probably Wednesday, and probably have to get the preview in Wednesday. Also, gotta make the graphics for it. But again, it's gonna be a busy week for me, guys. So just stay patient as always, and we'll go from there. So, guys, till then, guys, check it out. I'll see y'all later. Enjoy Raw tonight. Have a great rest of your Monday evening. Peace out, everybody. No escape.